Okay, let's talk about the blog post then. First of all, we have a new one, which is already great, much better than that thing on Tuesday where everyone was kind of guessing and then it didn't really happen. And yeah, but they go with Thursday apparently, and then there is going to be a preview stream on a Friday, I believe, where they talk about all the weapons in like greater detail. Today, Warrior Thief Engi with a video again. I guess we just start with the video again, like we did last time, and see what this has to offer. I hope the audio works for this. Let's find out. Thief first, okay, interesting. With mobility again. Okay, so more hybrid, ranged mobility melee. This looks like conditions, for sure. I see burning. There's stuns. What the heck? Yeah, I would be surprised if this is not a Conti weapon. And warrior. Okay, this is just fully ranged now. There's no mobility. Yeah, this is just fully ranged. Okay. My first thought about warrior. What's with the rifle? These poor guys have the rifle for like 12 years now. And now they get something else that's not a rifle, but does things like a rifle. Well, I guess I assume the spear has wider, like bigger range or whatever. Okay, let's check this in real quick. If I saw things correctly. So this... Okay, mobility. This seems to be power, a lot of power. This reminds me of the Daredevil. Like it looks very Daredevilish. Yeah, and stealth, of course, right? Because Thief don't see many conditions or anything flying around. For this, I believe there was burning, a lot of stuns. What is the other thing? It's like the Hammer 5-2 combo on Engi. That's kind of the feel that I'm getting here. Mobility here as well. That's like the one thing they all have in common, pretty much. There's a lot of projectiles. I wonder if this is all finishers as well. That'll be huge because Engi's do combo feels like a lot, right? Like a lot. Sure, big explosion, why not? Yeah, and the warrior, this looked like a pure range power thing. Right, it's just throwing spears, basically. Huge numbers, I assume. Right, it's more throwing, it's mobility backwards. Which is different, I guess, right? Everyone else moved to the target. Warriors move away from the target, but it still has mobility. I wonder if they get like something from being away from target, right? If there's like any benefit for this. Okay. Interesting. Let's see what this actually says. So we can skip the first bit. It's pretty much the same, I guess. Warrior Spears damage from a distance. Yes. The Warrior Spear is a power-based weapon inspired by ancient Sun Spear techniques. That's very much not Bay of Genfir area. Like Sun Spears are very far away in Elona, but sure. Capable of striking multiple opponents multiple opponents' range. Okay, so an AoE power range weapon, while rifle is single target, I guess. Even though most of the skills can attack distant foes, some of them gain increased effectiveness when used on closer targets, making opponents think twice about closing the gap. Okay, so it's actually a... what we said earlier, it's actually a melee spear, but that benefits from being at close range, but it allows you to upkeep DPS at a range, basically. Right? You're not doing anything when you're away. You're not doing nothing when you're away from the target, basically. Spear auto attack is Mighty Throw, which holds the spear as a single enemy, shattering on impact and sending spear fragments into other enemies around the target. Proximity to the target matters as the closer to the target is. Proximity to the target matters as the closer the target is to the warrior, the more fragments are created. I see. Okay, yeah, so you get rewarded for being close again, basically. Maiming Spear, it's that's so weird, right? Making a range, but you get benefit from being close. That's what I said earlier. That's odd, but yeah. Maiming Spear is a ranged area attack. The warrior launches a spear into the air, dealing initial damage and crippling foes in the area of effect. The cripple is helpful to prevent enemies from escaping the aftershock that follows, which is larger the closer the targeted area is to the warrior. If breathing room is required, Spear Swipe propels the warrior backwards in an evasive maneuver before sending a gust of wind forward to knock back enemies. Yeah, so this is to gain distance, right? Like I said. Also, probably like an actual evasion, like in terms of damage mitigation as well. Finally, the Spear Burst skill, Harrier's Toss, allows the warrior to leap up into the air, evading attacks. Another evade, okay, while holding the spear down with explosive force and dealing more damage, the more adrenaline is spent on the burst attack. Oh, I see. Okay, yeah, that's the warrior mechanic. I see. This seems to be... Yeah, I'm still not getting over the fact it's a ranged weapon, but you have to be really close to get the most out of it. But yeah, I guess at least it's not like you're running like, I don't know, double axes or whatever, and at range you're just standing there and just watching the boss from afar, basically, as you can't do anything. So I guess that's nice. This will give warriors some defensive tools as well, right? We have evades, 2 apparently, of some sorts, on top of dodges, so that's really nice. But this is just like a very basic, like power weapon, basically, with a nice toolkit. It gives me a little bit of hammer vibes on Engi, where you have AoEs, you have evades, you have finishers, you have a block, and all these kinds of things. It's not range, but right, it has a little bit of everything, basically. It's a well-rounded toolkit. I don't know if I will check this out, I'll be honest, because I'm just not really a warrior player. I'm basically playing Heel Berserker now, sometimes, and that is really about it. Yeah. So you said the chain attacks with the thief is going to be interesting. Okay. So let's check that out. Thief Spear is a melee hybrid weapon that can be utilized by both power and condition damage build. It also draws some inspiration from an old system in the original Guild Wars that Assassin players should be familiar with. Ooh. Yes, Assassin players had a like an opener, a combo, etc. There was a system to this. The thing is, Assassin used to have a lot of abilities they could combine in like various ways to make that work. I wonder how they do this on a weapon with 5 buttons. The second and third spear skill slots share some characteristics. Each has three different states, but will always be in the same state as the other. By default, they will both be lead attacks. striking an enemy with their lead attack will flip both slots into the next state follow-up attacks. In a similar fashion, striking an enemy with their either follow-up attack will flip the slots into their final state finisher attack. Yes, they're both combo finishers. Okay, cool. That would be interesting. After using one of the finishers, both skill slots will flag back to their lead attack state, ready to start a chain over again. Although the fourth and fifth skill and the stealth attack all gain additional bonuses when following a finisher attack, so you may want to weave in one of those before using another lead attack. One last note on the skill chains: using other skills during the chain sequence will not reset the chain, but failing to strike an enemy with the follow-up attack will. Ooh, okay. Now that we have a quick overview of the mechanic, let's take a look at the full slot 2 chain. You'll be able to mix, match skill slots throughout the chain, for example 3 to 3. Totally works, but we won't be covering all of the skills today. Oh, there's already familiar names. Yeah, I already have some thoughts about this. Okay, so the Mantis Sting lead, we'll get to this in a second. Let's finish reading. The Mantis Sting lead attack is a quick melee strike that inflicts bleeding and crippled. This will flip into Entangling Asp, which poisons enemies and will also mobilize enemies that are affected by a movement impairing condition. Finally, we have the finisher skill, Falling Spider. This skill inflicts poison, bleeding, poison, and vulnerability, inflicting additional stacks against enemies that are either immobilized or under the effect of crowd control. Each skill's bonus trigger conditions are fulfilled by the previous skill in the chain, but these conditions are all things that the thief has broader access to. So there are opportunities to get these bonuses even when you chain skill together, when chaining skills together from different skill slots. Yes. And the other chain will probably be more power focused, I assume, right? Because I said it's a hybrid weapon. So we have an auto attack chain. That's just auto attack chaining, basically. Then you have these combo things, and then 2 abilities that benefit after finish. They benefit from being done after a finisher, but you can throw them in randomly as well if you want or need to. One thing that I see being problematic is what Darren mentioned, is the tooltips, which is going to be wild. This sounds like, it's giving you options in a way. You have 6 buttons on 2 buttons, more or less, right? Because it's 3 states each. But if you are playing DPS, there's always going to be like that one that does the most damage, right? It's going to be like 3-3-2, 2-3-2, whatever, right? So you just have to like dance between those 2. And everything else is just like open world. I just press whatever, or just like blast my Condi chain and like, I don't know. Are they doing the sin mechanic from Ghost 1? It's just the combo system with the opener, follow-up, and finisher, basically, that you had with dagger abilities back in the day on the Assassins. But they're putting this on 2 weapon abilities, basically, instead of making the first ability an opener, or just have like 1 opener, 2 combos, 2 follow-ups, and 2 finishers or something. And that is the weapon, that is it. They're trying really hard to squish more into the weapon by having 2 abilities work as entire combo chains, basically, and you can double between the 2. And then still keep 1, 4, and 5 for additional things, basically. The finishers are always interesting, of course, for thieves, especially in competitive play, because you get more stealth, just right. The more you can finish on your what's the word? Jeez, these smoke fields, basically, right? You have to get your finishers from somewhere. I don't know. So this is a DPS weapon. I don't really do DPS thieves really, right? I do play Alacrity, like Condi, Alec, Spectre, and that's really about it. I feel about thieves in a somewhat similar way I feel about warriors in a weird way. It's not like my main cup of tea, so to speak. I wonder if this is like already too much in a way. I feel like I like that they try to make abilities and like make weapons do more things, but we know how DPS players are, right? If there's one way to do this, to do the most damage, 3 of these 6 abilities will not matter whatsoever. Like they might as well not be there basically, for people, like for everyone who's like try harding this and mixing damage rotations and whatnot. So yeah, we'll see. Maybe it changes depending on if you like power and Condi. I would like to see that. The thing is though, like poison is a really powerful condition either way. Similar to burning, right? Like yeah. So I found it interesting to put poison on this and not more like bleeding and yeah. Like bleeding would make there is bleeding, but there's just more bleeding, I guess, instead of poison. But yeah, interesting. Okay, let's see what the Engi has in store. So it's shocking, apparently. Surviving in certain lightning-prone environments can be a difficult task for the common Turian. Engineers, with their indomitable desire to create and adapt, have found a way to turn their knowledge against their enemies as weapons of mass destruction. Let's talk about how we'll be using the spear to dart around the battlefield and dominate targeted foes. This Engineer's spear combat style is melee-oriented with hybrid damage. That's what I said, like it can't really be ranged because that's not what Engis do, right? Two bells are in somewhat close combat, mid-range at best. Hollow Forge, very melee. Max, depending on your mech, how you build him, basically he will be at the boss and you will lose damage. Yeah, basically damage, right? You have to, when you are at range, because you have to be in close proximity to your mech to get all the damage modifiers up and running properly. So, like, range is not really a thing. Like, not permanent raging something, right? That's not a thing really on energy. So it makes sense to make it melee. With hybrid damage, encouraging you to pick a target and run directly into battle while utilizing a variety of control and damage skills. That's gonna be awesome for PvP and World as well. Your primary skill for this weapon is called Conduit Surge. This skill dashes to your target foe and applies the focused effect on them. Wait, that's your auto attack chain? Is that okay? That's a movement skill. Okay, charging them for future attacks. Every other attack will apply a bonus effect or work to maintain the focused effect on your foe. So, yeah, as long as you attack, you stay focused, basically. That's kind of what it is. One thing to note about Conduit Surge is that if a foe was defeated while under the focused effect, the skill will refresh and allow you to pursue your next target. So it's a lot of movement, basically. It's not auto, but it said your primary skill. So free, okay, sure. But it resets at least when it dies. So for PvP, you're gonna get a lot of mobility out of this probably. Yeah, the lightning rod skill is constantly available while wielding a spear. The engineer will create a segmented lightning rod that spins around them, dealing bonus damage to focused targets and gaining an amplifying effect with a bonus for hitting a focused target. For the next skill on the same slot, electric artillery. When the lightning rod is completed and hovering over your shoulder, you can choose to launch your charge rod at an enemy, immobilizing them, and applying damaging conditions based on lightning rod success. Okay, wait, so you have to attack a target, get the focus bonus, right? So you focus on this target. Then you have to use the lightning rod. The lightning rod will spin around and already do damage to your target. And when it's done spinning, it turns into electric artillery. And you can tell it's done because I guess the button flips or it hovers next to you or whatever. And then you can shoot it at your enemy. I guess if you don't shoot it within so and so many seconds, it just resets back to lightning rod, I guess. And then you have conditions and stuff. Okay. The weapon's 5th skill and Battle Ender is a skill currently called Devastation, which allows you to leap to a targeted area and deliver a massive EMP style attack, inflicting focused foes with a continuously damaging effect. We look forward to watching you tear around the battlefield, mixing both spears and kits together to cause fear and chaos. Yeah, this is like 2 mobility skills basically on this. You have constant get clauses. Like in PvE it doesn't really matter, right? Because you're stacking at the boss anyway, like whatever. But yeah, for PvP that's gonna be interesting. For World Wars World, I don't actually know because you see here's scrappers and like I've heard of hollows being a thing there, but that's kind of really about it, I guess. So maybe this is something for the World Wars World hollows. So I think it's good that they're not trying too hard. They gave the spear a gimmick, right? It reminds me of the catalyst orbs that you have spinning around you and you charge them up, you collect your orbs and then you blast them at target. I feel like this is kind of it, but it's 1 instead of 4. I would like to try, I will definitely try this weapon. I'm playing Condi Mech at the moment. So this is a condition based weapon. So I wonder if this is something that's a little bit more fun than pistol. That would be very interesting. And it's a lot of CC. It's not like Engis have a lot of CC, right? Yeah, I have to talk to my World of Sword friends what they think about this. The ones that play Engi there, but I'm somewhat excited for my Condimec. I just hope this is not like super like finicky to play the lightning rod, and it's not like a huge delay or anything, and like artificially slows you down, or like a huge animation or something. People are not into finicky things, right? If something is kind of weird, they will just not gonna play it. It's not gonna happen. That's why I'm happy it's only 1. Yeah. I don't know if do we think the focus target thing is necessary? That's my big question about, like, is this even necessary? Because in PvE you're mostly fighting 1 target anyway, right? You have your 1 target, you click on it and you go crazy, right? You just let loose. For competitive, I mean, I can kind of see it, right? You're singling out someone that you want to do more damage to than the others around them, I guess. But for PvE, I feel like this is almost kind of whatever. For like the instance content gamers, basically. I feel like this, you just run your rotation and it's just Interesting range is conditioned or something that starts ticking power damage. Well, I guess it's a ticking damage as long as you're in the field, right? That's I don't know if this is like any specified. So what I have in mind there is when Dagda in the strike mission, when Dagda does like when half the arena becomes like red and there's like a pulsing damage or something, maybe it's just like not really maybe it's just a fixed amount, it's not even scaling, or I mean, I kind of get your question, right? Like, is it power? Is it condition damage? What does it scale with? Or is it just a certain amount, right? Is it just fixed? This is the number, it is what it is, right? And this is the damage per second that you get while it, you know. Yeah, we have to see, I guess. 50-man Engi Spear squad. Yeah. Let's just spam Spear 5, right? And see what happens. Yeah. But yeah, that's gonna be interesting because they didn't specify this, right? I know what you mean. It's just continuously damaging effect, right? Whatever that means. Yeah, I like the Engi weapon from the sound more. I like the thieves. I like that they're trying to like make weapons do more, but I feel like it's almost too much. It's like close to being too much. And the warrior is just weird, man. Like it's a ranged weapon, so you have to be really close to get the most out of this. Good luck, right? Enjoy stacking behind the boss, even though you could be somewhere else, but less effective. Yeah, that's an interesting one. We'll see about this. Also, all DPS. I wonder if we get like any support spear other than the Guardian one. Yeah, I'll be very intrigued if the Ellie one comes. We will see it next week, I guess. But yeah, let's talk our thief, warrior, and Engi players in chat. What do you guys think?